Hello. Welcome to my channel, TV-DICTION, where we talk about my latest TV obsessions. We'll be talking about Season 8, Episode 1 of Sistas. I didn't realize that I'm literally 7 episodes behind on this season. I did try to watch Episode 1 on premiere night, I think back in October. However, I felt like the interrogation scenes were like dragging on and that it was kind of boring. So I cut it off midway and kind of never picked it up again. But since I had some time over this Thanksgiving weekend, I decided to catch up. So now let's dive into my thoughts on Episode 1 of Season 8. The episode picks up with Andy staring over Gary's bleeding body. Then we're catapulted into the interrogation room where we see Andy being questioned by a detective about her involvement with Gary's attack and how she's changed from wanting to take Gary down to walking down the aisle with Gary. Andy is standing firm and being adamant that she's innocent, even though the detective was being very smug throughout the whole interview, which I understand because he is trying to solve, a quote-unquote crime/murder, according to him, because, he did tell Andy that Gary was dead. But he didn't need to badger her like that. But, shout out to Angie for standing her ground and, putting her bad bitch hat on to let him know that, he can't talk to her like that. Like, she's an attorney. She's a officer of this court, in her words. Like, she's not new to this process. She knows how it goes. But you can't get beside yourself and start talking to her crazy, okay? Shout out to Andy for standing her ground. We also find out that this is now the second time that they're being questioned regarding this whole situation, which is interesting because clearly the detectives ain't got nothing if they gotta come out and interview you again, right? The next person we see in the interrogation room is Gary's bodyguard or whatever he is to him. This time with a different detective than the one that Andy had. He's bringing up, Gary's fraud cases and how, there's a lot of people who has reason to, kill Gary, right? Nonetheless. But this man, I believe his name is Hudson, proceeds to throw Andy under the bus, trying to say she was the corrupt one and that, this all is happening because of her or that she maybe did it for money. This man even brought up Karen. Like, yeah, that's not suspicious at all. Giving up all this unnecessary information, that sounds like someone with something to hide to me. I don't know about y'all, When they start blabbing at the mouth like that, they have something to hide. Next up in the interrogation room is Karen. What's the relevance of the detective bringing up the fact that her twins have 2 baby daddies? Was the tactic to embarrass her into a confession? Also, what does her salon and Zach's relationship with Fatima has to do with any of this? What does any of this have to do with the price of tea in China? Like, where is the correlation with this line of questioning? The best they could come up with is that they all ganged up together to have Gary stabbed. Like, come on now. Be so for real. Okay? You got to know you at least dealing with smarter people than that, right? Like, clearly, that would be way too obvious. Would it not be? We get a quick break from the interrogation room to the juice spot to where we see Tony and Rich, chopping it up. Rich has some strong feelings towards Andy and, as he should because, she did break his homeboy's heart. Also, it is with reason for him to, blame Andy because low-key, Andy really is the reason of all this. She really should have dropped Gary like a bad habit a long time ago, but yet she never did, kept in the mix, and now here we are. So, Rich ain't wrong in his feelings towards Andy in this moment. We're now back into the interrogation room, and it's Sabrina's turn to be questioned. Clearly, the detectives really did their homework, and got a little background information on all of the suspects that they interrogated because, they did bring up the whole bank situation with Sabrina and the fact that her and Maurice are still currently working at the bank. And also, she got a promotion after that. So, I guess they did their homework. The detective did strike a little nerve with Sabrina because, I don't know about y'all, but she got a little feisty. And Sabrina's not the type to get feisty. But she did get feisty for a minute there, and as she should, because this whole thing was pointless. But she did kind of, stick her foot in her mouth when, She said that she would do anything for her friends, which gave the detective an end to say even kill, which right there, you had his antennas up, because that would give you motive. Because if you're defending your friend, why not kill the person who, is jeopardizing her life right now? Next on the chopping block is our girl Danny, and of course, she's there hitting her vape, and we can always count on Danny to keep it straight and no chaser, okay? She was going to be as brutally honest as Danny could be, and that's exactly what she gave us, okay? And she was funny as hell about it too. And now her saying that someone turned him into a shish kebab, and then telling the detective to make sure whoever did it gets a key to the city. Like, Danny, please get out of that seat right now. Play too damn much. But y'all see, the detective ain't have no comebacks. He was gagged. She was literally too honest for him, and he couldn't think of nothing to try to, trip her up on her game. And he didn't go as hard towards her as he did, Andy and Karen, because she didn't give him a chance to. Danny was telling the truth. Like, what you gonna do with somebody telling the truth straight like that? She was way too brutally honest for him. And you know what? Shout out to you, Danny. We then see Zach up in the hot seat. Off rip, he's asking for an attorney to be present, as he should, because, baby, that's basic law 101 for everyone to know, okay? Don't speak to now one law enforcement entity without your attorney being present, because what? Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You hear me? What was the point of the detective bringing up his brother? We would never know. Also, I think everyone knows that Fatima is Zach's Achilles heel. So the detective brought her up for sure to get a reaction out of him. And he for sure knew he would strike a chord when it came to bringing up baby Michael. But I am glad that Zach was able to keep his cool. I for sure thought he was going to, at least snap on the man for bringing up Fatima and baby Michael, but he kept a level head, throughout the whole thing. So shout out to growth, I guess. Interrogations continue on, some more with now Fatima being in the hot seat, and, the detective got hella sassy with her, and he was trying his best to get a rise out of her. But surprisingly, like Zach, she kept a cool head. She kept it calm. And, didn't let him take her there. And she was also firm in her responses to him, and she got him all the way together. So shout out to Fatima, as always. We're now back to Andy, who is still in this interrogation room, calling out, Adrian Watt for not having, viable suspect, and reiterating how none of the people in her circle, including herself, could have done this. Then we see Jordan, in the interrogation room now, and I'm trying to figure out, now why is he in here? But of course, Jordan was worried about the whereabouts of Penelope and not really caring what the heck was going on with Gary. But he did have a little moment where he kind of snapped back at the detective, which was surprising to me, because I thought, especially as someone who was running for office, I thought he would know how to keep more level head than he did, because the detective could clearly see that he was getting under Jordan's skin, which is what they want. They want to get under your skin until you crack. And clearly he was one of the weakest links up there. How come Hayden was not called into the interrogation room? Because if anyone else has motive, he for sure does, But Hayden, where are you going in such a rush? Why are you packing? Who got you spooked? And I thought we wrapped this Tamara storyline up already. What is she doing just popping up at Hayden's? Okay, girl, you're bold. That scene with Rich and Sabrina was cute or whatever. Shout out to Danny for, still using her therapy tools. We see you committing to bettering yourself, Danny. Shout out to you. Go ahead and journal it out, okay? Express yourself on that paper. You know what? Not me over here giving her props, and then seconds later, she didn't go and try to use sex as a coping mechanism. Damn, Danny, I was so proud. Come on now. Now, Karen, you haven't done a lick of hair in that salon. Ain't nothing in that little black book. Please stop fooling yourself. Who the hell is Zachariah? Ain't Zach named Zachary? But both Zach and Fatima suspecting each other was funny as hell. And, we love to see when Zach and Fatima go into Bonnie and Clyde mode and them deciding to try to solve this thing together, that's gonna be lit, okay? They really about to be on their Bonnie and Clyde. Okay, Hudson. Please keep that bass out of your voice talking to that doctor all crazy like that. But you know what they say. Evil don't die easy. We find out that Gary is still, in fact, alive and not dead as the detective, told everyone. 40-something odd minutes later, Andy is still in this interrogation room getting berated by Agent Watt. And then, of course, she had to gather his life all together because, who the hell was he talking to? Robin? Sir, where'd you come from? And just like that, the episode ends with a dramatic entrance from Robin up out the blue. Like I said earlier, I felt like this episode was a little boring because we spent way too much time in this interrogation room. But, down in the comments, let me know your thoughts on episode 1. Until next time, thank you for watching.